thirsty? Who's thirsty after their run? You are. And that's good. That's why we should hydrate. Topic as Vagina Whisperer, managing a roster. Is that why I have my bullpen hat on? Kind of. Okay. Kind of. Look who signed it. My mentor, Quinn Matthews. Yes, the person who adorns my Duck9 webpage is my mentor, Quinn Matthews. People assume that I'm mentoring him. What? That's the perfect juxtaposition of who's the mentor and who's the mentee. And perfectly on cue for that conversation, for this Vagina Whisperer Pussy Magnet conversation, is this little pussy magnet. Ladies, I see how you're building your roster. So the title of this video is going to be General Manager of Your Vagina. How you're messing it up in 11 different ways. Let's start with the flagship quote, which is atrocious, which is never let your boyfriend get in the way of finding your husband. What? Okay, so the porn that most women are on is the porn of women not holding each other accountable. And this is the hack. This is notifying an inflection point in how to succeed at dating, because women aren't helping you. Who is going to help you? Who's going to help you? The Vagina Whisperer with his little pussy magnet friend, Tom Brady. Here's the state of dating, is that even a guy like human Tom Brady is having a hard time keeping his wife happy. Think about that. The most winningest quarterback is having a hard time, so what chance do other men have? Therefore, men have decided to not quit, but definitely not bring in any kind of D energy. No dick energy. So that's why you're getting dick from a centralization of dick. Oh, I only want to be with the 6'5" dude who's left-handed, who's a professional, who's rich, who's makes $17 million a month, and blah, 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 blah. And then men are like, good luck with that. This is why this video is going to bullet point how to be a better general manager for your vagina. Bullet point number 1. It's okay that you're not thankful, but just pretend to say thank you. That's number 1, is you're violating chapter 8. Not with me, Larry Chang, but I watch you guys not be thankful when you get free shit. You just want more comp items. Where have I also seen this? Athletes that go bankrupt. Literally, they're not managing their own athletic brain that's a pussy. So this is really duck pussying. Thankfulness. How are you thankful? A paper card. A paper card. You don't have to give a romantic gift, which is point number 2. Just a paper thank you will drop jaws to the floor. Number 2. You're managing your vagina like the shot clock is running down to almost 2 seconds, and you're chucking up some of the most horrendous shots ever. Realize that, yes, it's going to be a geriatric pregnancy in your late 20s. And that's kind of not okay, but this would have been way better if you would have started when you were 21 years old, when you were 3 years away from a 4-year degree. Is romantic gifts? Yes. A $2 to $15 romantic gift because what you're doing is you're literally buying a lottery ticket. If I were a woman, I'd be dating the tallest, richest, hottest, coolest guy. Why? That is committed. Why? Because character compassing is chapter 4 of my mentor's book, Vagina Whispering, Healing Your Broken Brain. I'm not going to slam TikTok or YouTube, okay, the platforms that I'm going viral on. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is make you slightly realize that putting pen to paper via your journal, like your therapist said, can be massively helpful in managing your vagina, because when you're trying to run a roster, you're seeming like time is limited. Correct me if I'm wrong when you say stuff like, the next person that I have sex with, it's going to be with my husband or a future husband. This is what happens in sports where they call getting the yips, where you can't throw a ball 15 feet even though you're a professional because mentally something's broken inside of you. This is what being a better general manager for your vagina is all about, is avoiding the yips. In fact, hashtag duck yips. A yip is where you can't even walk across the street without saying something that seems like you're a crazy psycho girl. And I don't like using the word crazy girl because it's not crazy girl that you're just being a regular girl where the chemical is influencing your brain. Bullet point next is right on cue, which is men are conditioned and trained to manage our testosterone. What woman, besides this woman, has ever helped you in managing your chemical? I shouldn't have made a joke there because it's funny in trans humor. Focus. What woman has ever told you how to better manage your estrogen? Ever? I argue none, because the way to manage your estrogen is by realizing that female chemical out of the pineal gland of our brain, you have a pineal gland, causes you to say things that are not optimal. And when we, as women, do things that are intuitive to us, we are not counterintuitively better managing our vagina by listening to a 6'5" Chinese guy help us whisper into our own vagina. To recap, men are told this is how to manage your testosterone. In fact, women even tell men how to manage their testosterone now. And then men are like, okay, I'll try to be less masculine. And then look what happened after 15 years of, hey, can you try to be less masculine? Can you try to be less masculine? Can you try to control your balls? Brady has balls. Can you try to control your balls? What do women do? Women pretend to have balls that they don't have, and now women are off center, off kilter, and fully levered, miserable with brain situation. These are not negative things, because the Vagina Whisperer, every problem that Pussy Magnet Vagina Whisperer brings up is solvable. And that's the fork in the road, the fork in Pussy Magnet Vagina Whisperer. And I'm pointing at myself twice because Pussy Magnet is this, Vagina Whisperer is understanding how female vagina is wired via chemical and the pituitary gland using 3 brains. Your brain, your gut instinct, because your stomach, if it's getting wrecked right now because your skin isn't glowing, you're trying to do skincare on your face by slathering stuff on your face. That's really a mortgage for future looks. That's what plastic surgery is a mortgage for future looks but I'm pulling the looks here now. Genius, right? Our stomach is our best form of skincare because it's the headquarters for our immune system. And what's the biggest organ of our body? It's skin. And so the three brains, brain number 2 is our stomach. Brain 1 is realizing we don't need to vape. We don't need chemical. We don't need the excuse of, oh, we're ADHD, or these branded terms that are causing us to be demoralized. How vagina whisperer am I right now? Brain 3 is in your hip pocket. You pull out a notebook. You pull out a notebook. You pull out a notebook. That's your third brain, right by your butt. So I'm literally helping your butt, your stomach, and your brain connect to your vagina. I said that there's a fourth brain too, right? That's your female big dick energy. You can take some of the frustrating things that you experience leading to the D word and another D word and some other mental health word. You can route those sexual energies and sexual frustrations into chapter 9, entrepreneurship. Because what men have been able to do, which is why men have such a better score on making money, is taking masculine, I want to sleep with everything in the world energy and putting that into money. Did I just quote chapter 11 of a book that you've heard of and maybe read one time but then don't remember? Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Sexual Energy Transmutation. How cute are you? Brady, you're the best dog ever. Sexual Energy Transmutation, where Brady wants to bang everything. Okay, he literally wants to bang everything because he's a horny guy. But instead, he just produces. That's what we want to do with our vagina, is we want to take that vagina, I want to bang Larry Chang energy. Admit it. Admit it. Anybody who has hashtag vagina whisperer on their Twitter bio, admit it. It's sexy. I'm not going to sleep with you until you read 2 books and then we study buddy those books together. So you're going to take that, oh my God, I'm so horny for my first Chinese guy energy, and we're going to put it right into reading. So that way, every time you're like, oh, I wish Larry would text me back, or I wish we could go to the 100K party together because I hear he's a baller in Miami, New York, and he can get any reservation at any Michelin star restaurant anytime he wants. Energy into reading a book. Oh my God, I can't even read for 10 minutes. I can't even read for 5 minutes. That's because your brain is like a super fat girl who's ginormously fat and you can't run a 1K. Like, you think a 1K, it takes you 2 months to get to 5K. It takes you 2 months. So why would it be any different if during 2024 you read less than 50 pages? Let's say paper book pages. Let's say you read fewer than 5 pages total. Oh, I have a friend, she reads. That's great. That's great. I'm happy that your friend reads, okay? Because we are going to be having you read 8 pages in a row. You're going to read 8 pages in a row. If you can't read 8, try to do 5. And then that's the energy that we're bringing when you really want to bang me and then get me to commit to you, because then you'll have won the DNA lottery, right? You'll have won the DNA lottery with the person who's both pussy magnet and vagina whisperer. But guess what? Okay, my heart's already taken to a person who's not yet 22 and definitely not older than 23. So I gotta wait. I'm committed. Do you see how I'm managing my vagina slightly better than the way that you guys are managing your bullpen? Because I am taking your sexual energy for me and routing it right into comprehension and reading slightly faster and being able to focus your brain, because it doesn't matter how hot you are, if your brain is broken, I don't want to hang out with you after we do all the things physically that you want to do. And if that's in the back of my brain where I'm saying after sex, I want to leave right away, guess what? This is how I wired my dick. It doesn't even get hard, doesn't even get erect, doesn't even get excited. In fact, doesn't move the needle. Oh, Brady, this is such a good video. That's how I've wired my testosterone. And how much testosterone do I have? Allegedly, purportedly, too much, okay? 7,000 million per million. Like, that's the parts per million. And then free testosterone? Shit, that's not free. I charge over 200 grand. If you want to cheat and just buy the DNA and win by doing non-artificial insemination, Asian insemination, I'll put a sample in a test tube and then sell it to you for 275 grand. You cannot share it with another girl. You have to use it yourself. That's in the contract. And if it doesn't go to Stanford University, your money back. It's a great deal. Oh, and also 3 pro athlete contracts in attachment to the free ride to Stanford. So your kid gets to go to Stanford for free, not because I'm connecting them, but because that's just what the spawn winning the genetic DNA will do. Why? Because if you've heard, intelligence skips a generation. Dad went to MIT, mother PhD from Yale, me University of Illinois retard. And so it skips a generation, so the next generation is reach college, safety, school, Harvard, and Princeton avoided. Even if you went to community college. That's how dominant the good jizz is. Even if you went to college at, what starts at UT changes the world? No, it doesn't, okay? Because it would take you, not joking, no exaggeration, 17 years to get a 4-year degree from the University of Illinois. It would take you 11 years to get a 4-year degree from Stanford because it's kind of woke. And they'll just be like, oh, you and your female vagina, you just pass because you're a female. Like, look at that presidential candidate. I mean, worst attorney ever, worst district attorney ever, and she is almost president. In fact, that's what I want for you, because I've met the next 3 female presidents. Why? Because I'm the vagina whisperer. And if you donate to Cam Harris, I will actually help her run slightly better because I am the vagina whisperer. Where did I initially start? SAT preparation for girls who couldn't get into their Ivy because they're getting a sports scholarship, but their SAT scores are too low. How did I do it? I read the Barron's ACT SAT preparation book for them, and then I hacked how to be a better test taker. And so this body of vagina whispering work is pretty well documented. This video has been super helpful. Are you going to be a better general manager for your vagina? I think you will. Another bullet point. Good job staying past after. You want to go and definitely manage your chemical. And then you want to do it in a journal for, hey, how do I better gamify my vagina? The other thing you want to do is you want to reciprocate for an even amount. As a woman, tendencies reciprocate for less. You get a text message, you pretend to be busy. Whoa, that's another point. And you reciprocate for less. If a guy does all these things for you, you reciprocate for less. When you're wired to pattern recognize incorrectly and reciprocate for less, you're literally breaking 2 chapters of a book that you have not yet read. Pattern recognition, chapter 4, and karma, chapter 8, reciprocity. Because you're trying to figure out the best possible guy. And then your wiring is all messed up because what do guys do? Guys are slightly better with failure. And so they'll try incredibly advanced PUA skills, which I don't do. Pickup artistry skills, which is they'll be a cunt to you. They'll be an asshole to you. And you're like, oh, that must mean he gets better women than me. That does not mean that. That means he's hacking into your brain. PUA. Coding. Who codes better, men or women? Men do. Let's you and I code break your brain, jailbreak your phone into being independent, and we begin to program our own vagina brains. We're not watching TikTok to let other females who don't know what they're talking about mentor us. We're having knowledge come from the Vagina Whisperer, and we're saying, this is what I learned, this is what I did. This is what I learned, this is what adjustments I made in my vagina management. This is basically a Jedi in vagina administration. Cool, right?